By the seat of our pants.
Unready room, living up to our name. Oh man.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It is indeed. Welcome everybody to the Unready room. As always, unready as usual. I'm Dan Gunther. With me, of course, is Brandi Jackola. We're back. Oh man. Yeah, we're back and we're talking Star Trek, and I'm gonna just give away things already. I'm so glad it doesn't suck. Just kidding.
Yeah, I saw some return of Brandi's big hair, so yeah.
Oh, nice. I had to update some background stuff. I've got La Serena because it's back this season. And I've got the Enterprise D plaque and also the Enterprise D shirt because somebody has to defend the fat one. All right.
The fat one.
Oh man. Nobody loves the fat ones. Come on. Oh.
Nobody wants the fat ones. Also an Eagle Moss joke.
Yes. Okay, this is funny. Ever since then, I've now seen somebody posted screen caps of somebody on eBay selling the Enterprise D Eagle Moss model as screen accurate. Tip of the hat to whoever that is. Nicely done.
Beautiful.
Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, we are talking about the season 3 premiere of Star Trek Picard, entitled The Next Generation, which I thought that was clever. I like that. That's nice. And yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We have lots to talk about. We have so much discussion already happening in the chat. I'm seeing regulars. Really good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everybody who's watching this later. We appreciate you as well. So
yes,
yeah,
we do.
Brandi, did you like this episode? Was it okay?
It was freaking amazing. Are you kidding me? This is everything I ever wanted from Picard.
Oh man. Oh, let's get right into it then, because this episode, by the way, those of you who are waiting for my deep dive episode, and I am back to doing the deep dive episodes. I wanted it to come out yesterday, but there were just so dang many Easter eggs. Like, it's just wall to wall Easter eggs. Yeah, that's taking a little longer. I should have that ready tomorrow. So anyway, yeah, we start out with a title card in a particular font in the 25th century. Maybe kind of referencing that we're going to be doing some of the themes and some of the ideas from the Wrath of Khan this season. Maybe, I don't know. But that was interesting. I was kind of caught me off guard to start with, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, they're leaning into making this a love letter to TNG. And I'm fine with that. I wasn't sure I was going to be fine with that. But what they're doing here, and because I have seen more than this episode, but again, I can't talk about it, and neither can Dan. They're getting me. They're getting me. Honestly. And I'll probably say this more than once throughout the course of this season. I have literally, and I'm not talking about using literally as figuratively, I have been literally on the edge of my seat, leaning forward while watching every single episode.
Yeah, I've been there with you. Now, I've not watched as far ahead as I could. And all of the notes that I made for this episode were made before seeing anything else. I want to definitely segregate this discussion. So you won't be hearing from me about anything beyond this episode.
Nope.
So yeah, because there are things worth preserving. I think there's, and like I've said, I've not seen that far ahead. I've only seen the next episode after this. So there are definitely things worth preserving, even just from week to week. That is definitely off the table. But my first thing I want to say is I'm a big Beverly Crusher fan, and those writers back in the day did her dirty, especially in the TNG films,
Mhm.
relegating her to basically background or cameo status in a couple of those
Yeah.
movies, really.
Yeah, the last two especially.
Yeah, right. So the fact that this season starts out with Beverly Crusher and the plot, everything centers around her, everything is coming back to her. I'm loving it. And action hero Beverly Crusher, sure. Like I am here for that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, she's got a new nickname now, and it has great alliteration. Beverly the Badass.
Nice. I like it.
Yes. Do not mess with Beverly. She will mess you up.
Yeah, and we get that kind of first contact style phaser rifle, but it's got the additional like pump action to it, which okay, it's a little silly, but I'm there
I feel
for it.
maybe that's how you charge in the next shot. You know, I could go with that. I can headcanon that a bit.
That's what it sounded like, especially when just like power cell empty or something. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, it seems like something that would be more automated by that, but whatever, that's fine.
Well,
It looked cool, right?
yeah, she might not have the most recent weapons. They may not be in the best condition, considering the condition of the ship they're
Hmm.
on at the moment.
So maybe it's
So,
a jury rigged thing or something.
yeah. And thank you for
I
saying
kinda like that.
jury rigged, because that is the correct term. It's not jerry rigged, folks. It's jury rigged.
I just heard jerry rigged the other day, and
Ugh,
but
drives me
yeah.
nuts.
and that's kind of where I'm at too. Like it's follows the bilk rule of filmmaking, right? BILC,
Hmm.
because it looks cool.
Hmm.
And there's forgiveness for that, for sure. It looks pretty
Yeah.
cool. She's pretty badass for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We could talk about all of the Easter eggs that we see from start to finish, but I feel like we'll get really bogged down in
Hmm.
that discussion. I will say it was nice to hear Picard's log from Best of Both Worlds Part 1 when they're hiding in the nebula. That was kind of cool.
Yep.
There's a lot more here, but I'll get into that in a later video.
Hmm. Yes.
But yeah, so that's fun. Obviously, their ship is boarded. There's this other person here that Crusher locks in a room, and Crusher's hurt and sends a message to Jean-Luc Picard. So setting off the season's events here. So interesting
Yeah.
stuff. Definitely, it's reeling me in at this point.
Well, yeah, and the way that this person who was being locked in was reacting, I'm like, this is somebody that really cares about her. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
is not just a crew person, a standard crew person. This is someone who loves her.
Mm.
And he is very upset that she has locked him away.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, okay. Next thing we get is the opening sequence, which is basically the show title card. And I have a thing I like and a thing I'm kind of about. Not horribly dislike, but just like which is that the opening credits or the credits sequence, they've moved from the beginning of the episode to the end, so we don't get the kind of sequence that we're used to in Star Trek shows, but we get the episode title on screen, which
Mm-hmm.
I love. I think
Yes.
I've been missing that. We get that in
Mm-hmm.
Prodigy and Lower Decks, but the live action shows haven't had that. And it's really nice to see that episode title on screen.
Yes. I appreciate that. I did find it weird that there was no opening sequence in regards to credits. And I thought, well, okay, when are they going to do that? And so there was a part of me that's like, is it going to happen now? Is it going to happen now? Are they going to stick it in somewhere weird? What are they doing? And then finally, you see it at the end. And boy, do those credits at the end have a lot of information in them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
Yeah.
DJ Kitty Cat, that's a very good point, because I remember some of the complaints in previous seasons, and I'm always one of those people that's always looking at the imagery of the credits. So sometimes my mind, I just don't notice the names. So the couple times that it happened, I just out of sheer luck, it didn't spoil anything for me, but that is kind of nice that you don't know who's going to be the special guest star in that episode, and it's a little bit more of a surprise when you actually get there. So that's a good point. I like that.
Well, in my memory, and my memory can be faulty, I know in Discovery they don't give a ton of guest star information. Like if it was a guest star, it was like Michelle Yeoh or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like the other guest stars would be at the end. Like Ethan Peck was never named in season 2 of Discovery in the opening credits. It was always at the end.
But it was only the special guest stars that tended to be. So we would see like Jerry Ryan or Marina Sirtis or something, and it's like, oh
yeah, but we always knew they were going to be in it anyway, well before the season started. So it's
but
really
not in that
surprise.
particular episode, right? I think just to defend the comment, I think
sure.
absolutely.
Specifically
that episode, right? The surprise of like, oh, 7 of 9 just beamed aboard the ship. Oh my goodness, or we're going to see Riker and Troy in this episode or whatever.
Yeah, they're definitely playing their cards way closer to the vest.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. So it's a silver lining to I want my opening credits, so.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got Picard back at the chateau again, and I'm so happy that Laris is in this episode. I feel like, the scene we get where she says, I'll meet you at this bar. It sounds like we're probably not going to get her for quite a bit more in this season, just maybe towards the end. I don't know, but I'm so happy to see her here. I really love Orla Brady, and she and Picard, she and Patrick Stewart have such a great chemistry on screen. I really love these two together.
I agree, and yeah, exactly. When that scene was over, and I basically thought, well, we won't be seeing her again until episode 10, will we?
It sounds like it, yeah, for sure. Which is too bad, but any Laris we get,
any Laris is good Laris.
Definitely. Of course, all the usual Easter eggs and stuff in this scene as well, which I'll gloss over quickly, but this is, where we see that he's packing up. They're going to be moving to a different planet. They name drop the planet, and if you look it up, it's a Romulan planet that's been mentioned in a previous series before. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but yeah, they're going to, retire together to this place, and which is really sweet, leaving the chateau. That's an important part of Picard's life, but he's ready to move on, or at least he's trying to convince himself and Laris that he's very much ready to move on, and that's sweet. I love these two.
Yes, I love that too. It does, of course, in my mind, because I'm like, wait, what's going to happen to the vineyard? This is what I want to know. These are the questions I have, because I'm the person who thinks about all that stuff. They just, make it clear, oh yes, they're going to move off together and they're going to retire together. So, but what about the chateau? What about the vineyard? What happens to that? I want to know. Give me some closure.
Yeah, I wonder, is like Chateau Picard done? If this all goes through the way they want it to, right? Like, he has no family to take it over at this point. He's not a man who needs a legacy, as he says. Whether that's something he's made peace with, or that's something that he's just had to find himself dealing with, I don't know. But yeah, I wonder if he's packing up. We see later the crate of Chateau Picard wine. Is that like the last wine off the line? Is that the end of this? That's a good question.
I want to know. You know what? I bet you that question will be answered, because I had some questions come up in this episode, and I'm like, they're gonna answer that question, right? And then it may not be in the same episode, but yes, everything where I'm like, wait a minute, what about this? And they have answered that question. Everyone I've had so far, with the exception of Chateau Picard and the Vineyard. So
nice.
I'm just saying.
That's, I mean, not to rag on anything, but that's a nice step up from maybe last season. But anyway,
Yes. Because I'm just like, well, because and just previous Trek in general, it's like they just say something, wave their hands, and try and then distract you with something else, so you never go, wait a minute now. And this was, there were several things that came up for me throughout the 6 episodes that I have seen that I'm just like, okay, well, they answered this question. Are they going to answer this one? And often it was in the same episode, and I'm like, well done. Thank you. This is what I wanted and needed.
Yeah, it feels like they've constructed, and again, from my very limited viewing of it, it feels like they've constructed a coherent story and planned out the beats from start to finish, which I'm really excited about. Season 2, it kind of suffered from Terry having to leave partway through and work on season 3, basically. And so some of that stuff, from what I've heard from behind the scenes and stuff, seemed a little bit incoherent and a little bit disjointed, I guess. And season 3, like I said, so far, and from what I've heard, sounds like it's going to be a lot better in that regard. Sorry, I've got an incoming transmission. Let me just put it on screen here.
Yeah!
Bruce! Welcome!
I'm a little nervous right now. Because when I first came in, you guys were like stuttering. I was like, oh, I think my internet connection's bad, but it's working now.
Oh, okay.
So I think and then the person leading the meetings got COVID and just canceled.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, but that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yay!
But
Yay!
yeah, really glad you're here. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we just started basically talking about the show. So we're just at Picard getting the transmission from Crusher. So Bruce, did you think this episode was okay, or what did you think of it? Oh, maybe he is still having.
I don't know. I just hope I'm working. I'm having internet. Yeah, I think I'm still having some problems.
Okay.
No.
Which is unusual for me.
Well, we're happy to have you here regardless. So yeah. So yeah, we do have Crusher sending that message. Picard's receiving it on his old comm badge. I kind of liked his back and forth with the computer. A codec. A codec is a blah blah. It's like, I know what a codec is. I kind of enjoyed that. Part of me, and again, I overanalyze things and I go into things too much, and I'm like, I think the computer should have been able to localize where the sound was coming from and tell him. But then the back and forth that he has with the computer after that is like, I think he's just dumbed it down a little bit in the settings because he misses data. Because that's the kind of conversation he was having.
I love that. That's my headcanon now. I love it. Perfect.
And I mean, when I say dumbed down, I'm not saying data's dumb. I'm saying like that kind of misunderstanding of what's being asked and giving too much information and not enough in the right areas and stuff. I just felt that was a little bit of a parallel there. Like the codec thing. I know what a codec is.
Well, computers are very literal. There is no room for nuance.
Hopefully we'll have Bruce back very shortly. I guess he was having some technical issues, but that was a nice little surprise. That's cool. I send Bruce the link every week just in case he can make it, and so happy that we at least got a glimpse of him. So hopefully he's back very soon.
Yes.
So yeah, he gets the message over the comm badge, decodes it with the correct codec in Picard 47 Alpha Tango.
47.
Yeah, and his old that code was first used a couple times in First Contact too, which was nice as well. So then we go to the 10 Forward bar in LA.
Oh no. We have to talk about the message.
Oh yeah, okay. So
we have to talk about the message. And Beverly obviously does not look very good
no,
because
yeah.
she is bleeding out. and she's scared. She is scared.
Hmm.
And she says, Hellbird.
Yeah, Hellbird. What could that be?
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like, I was looking at that and going, but he doesn't know what that is.
Mhm. Trust no one except the people you need to decode the code I'm giving you.
Yeah. Except Will. Go find Will. This is the hint to find Will. Like, without saying, go find Will.
um yeah, I had okay, that was something that I kind of twigged on. I was like, oh, he needed help to figure that out. This is just a total tangent, but I was recently rewatching TNG season 1 and the episode 11001001.
Mhm.
Minuet and the Binars trap Riker in the holodeck so that he can, ostensibly according to the thing, so that he can um, do the thing they want to do with the Enterprise computer, but they also trap Picard. And it turns out at the end they need two people working in concert on the computer to activate the Binars computer system. But Minuet says Riker was part of the plan. Picard was just a fortunate happenstance. That's sure lucky. Boy, they would have doomed their entire civilization. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, well, especially it's like you're binars, so why wouldn't you have two people? That always
Yeah.
bothered me about that episode. I was like, you're freaking binars. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
So that's what went through my mind here. It's like, oh, it's lucky that Picard went and contacted Riker because he had no idea what this Hellbird thing was. And
Well, I
Crusher
think
had
that
just been
was
shot. She was, yeah.
no, I think that was purposeful. I
Yeah.
think that was purposeful because despite the fact of not having seen each other in over 20 years, what?
Mhm.
Yeah, because I thought immediately, that guy on the ship is her kid and Picard's. I immediately clocked that.
Well,
Immediately.
we can jump to that then because, I mean, we don't get that spelled out here, but I mean, everyone in that room has to be thinking the same thing who doesn't know what's going on, right? Okay, so first of all, when we first meet him, I'm already getting like serious Shinzon vibes from him. And like, I'm like, and I mean, I know obviously accents aren't genetic, so I thought that was kind of fun, but it's definitely a link there. And like I said, just the way he talks, the way he carries himself, and the way he looks, I was definitely getting Tom Hardy vibes. And yeah, I mean, we don't know after this
Yeah.
episode, but we know,
But we
right?
know. We
Right?
know.
Right? I
We
Yeah.
know. It's because why else would she cut off contact for that amount of time? And how old is this kid? Right about the same amount of years as the time that she cut them off.
Hmm.
Interesting. Why would she cut them off? Could it be that any kid of Jean-Luc Picard would be, I don't know, a possible target? I
Maybe,
don't
yeah.
know.
I don't know
Maybe.
either, but
But I'm just saying, those are all the things. The minute that I'm like, that he's, because I was just like, this has got to be her kid. This has to be her kid. But if it's her kid, it's also Picard's kid. Because why not? Why else would any of this other stuff have happened? So, though there is no concrete evidence at this time,
mhm.
that was my feeling when I saw that. I'm like, okay, first of all, that kid obviously loves her. Second of all, definitely a deep relationship here. And then, of course, we find out he is her son. And I'm like, yep, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm putting together.
the moment that was revealed, like explicitly stated when he said, I'm her son, Nikki and I, my wife, we looked at each other and we're like, especially, and then the camera goes to Picard and he's like, kind of like, a look on his face. There, yeah,
He's kind of thinking that too, except he doesn't want to think that, but he, deep down he's thinking that.
yeah. We'll see. I'm curious about Riker's reaction to all this. I think that'll be fun for sure.
Yeah. One thing I will say is the whole thing, because I'm just like, okay, but why does he have a British accent? And I thought, I'm going to trust that they're going to explain that at some point.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will too. But I did love
sure
that it was basically the same accent as Tom Hardy's Shinzon too, like that same cadence. I was like, oh, that's good, because I know he can do different accents, right? Like,
oh yeah, he can.
I've seen him in a number of other things. Downton Abbey, most prominently. Ed Speleers, so good.
Love him. Love him.
Absolutely.
Love him. Happy to see him.
For sure. Bruce is back. Maybe.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
That works.
I don't know what's
Usually
going on.
it's me or Brandi.
I know. I didn't have a problem on Zoom or anything. I'm having problems with this. It's weird.
Well, we're happy to have you here for sure. Oh. Okay. All right.
Awkward.
Yeah. All good though. But yeah, so we kind of jumped to the end of the episode a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. That was my fault.
That's all good. That's all good. We're all over the place. But this discussion between Picard and Riker, I really enjoy. And the Hellbird thing with referencing Picard's time as Locutus. I kind of like that there was some unseen stuff weaving through that period of time that we didn't see, right? So there was this computer virus that changed all the digits of the coordinates by 3, or added 3 to every digit. So they do that to the coordinates Beverly sends them, and they get the correct coordinates just outside of Federation space. So that was cool.
Yeah, and I think, as I was trying to say before, and I never completed that actual thought, is I think that she did that purposely.
Right.
He wouldn't know what Hellbird was. Who would? So first person that he's going to go to is Will.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I have stuff to say about this. By the way,
we're getting there.
Yeah, if you missed the beginning of the stream, I am wearing this shirt in solidarity with the fat ones and the Enterprise D dedication plaque, just because I want the fat ones. Like, yeah, those Oh, Bruce is kind of popping his head up and in and yeah. Anyway, So yeah, that's another good question, by the way. There are a few references in this discussion to things that we never saw, right? So Rigel 7 is an episode. It was actually, or a planet. It was actually in the first pilot episode for the original Star Trek with Pike. There was never a TNG episode where they went to Rigel 7, but presumably some adventure we didn't see. They did go there. So, yeah.
Which is fine, because obviously we couldn't possibly have seen all of their adventures. I mean, even if they had given an episode to every single one, I mean, how long was that crew together? A long time. We saw just snippets of their lives, really.
Yeah, absolutely. The fat ones. That still just makes me laugh, by the way. The Enterprise D, it's the Enterprise D. It's classic. It's Galaxy class, young lady. Come on.
Yeah. One thing that I laughed about was seeing the model and going, oh, no. That has to be glued in there, because that would actually have fallen out by now.
If they're putting it on a set of a TV show, they've glued everything down for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, too, that my Cerritos does not want to stay.
Oh, Cerritos is the worst for that. I just basically, like, before we started, I replaced the Cerritos with La Serena up there. And, oh, man, I got it very carefully to the other shelf in the other room. I set it down so gingerly, and it went...
Yep. I have mine on a really high shelf. I have these small shelves upon which I display some of my starships, and they're like above our dining room or our living room window. the shelves are. So I can't bump them in any way, shape,
No.
or form unless I climb up on the sofa. And I don't do that as a general rule. I did it to put them up there. And that was about it. But yeah, it stays because we haven't had an earthquake recently, at least not one to shake up enough. We actually did have an earthquake recently, but it was only like a 3.5 and we didn't really feel it here. So,
No.
but yeah,
No.
yeah, that thing just goes, just does a nosedive. Even
Yeah.
after, right after you put it in, it just,
Yeah, it's that one's difficult. You think you
It
have it
w-
perfect, and it just
yeah, the whole way that those ships are displayed overall are just unstable. They just
yeah.
are. There's got to
There's
be a
some
better
that
way.
are just like good, like solid, but like I remember I got the Romulan Warbird, and that one just will
Mm,
not stay in its little clips. It just won't.
mhm.
I think I
Yeah,
think I put like an elastic band around the warp nacelles, and like there's an engineer jury rig that O'Brien would be impressed with to get that thing to stay on there. Oh
yeah.
man.
Don't even get me started on the Discovery era Starbase one. Ugh. Yeah,
Oh, I don't have that one. Yeah.
it's beautiful, but it isn't well supported enough at all.
No.
Those things shouldn't be plastic. The plastic bits should not be plastic. They should be of something much heavier. You guys, come on. Who am I talking to? Eagle Moss
I
doesn't
was just gonna
anymore.
say.
Actually, there's a company taking over their projects.
There is, yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely. So far, just selling old stock, nothing
But
new,
they're gonna
except
do
to
some
build
new
the
stuff.
Enterprise thing. But
Yeah,
so
they sent me an email saying, "Hey, we're taking over these projects. You want to sign up for emails from us so that we can keep in touch with you and tell you about new things we're going to be doing because we're going to have some new stuff." So
nice.
don't know how long it'll take to do the new stuff. Probably a while, but yeah.
Oh, that is the privilege of living in the US, because even when it was Eagle Moss, I had to remind them I was their customer. They would never contact me.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. And even in the US, still happened. So
No.
there you go.
Well, anyway, from here we go. Well, we get this. Riker's got an idea. They can't charter a ship. It's too dangerous. But he's got an idea. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, come on. We all knew what his idea was, didn't we?
Of course, we saw the trailers. We know
Yes.
it's fine. But yeah, from here we go to Metallus Prime, which
Which is not that name existed before Picard.
Yes,
Before
this
Picard.
is where I was going. Okay, so
Mhm.
this planet was named after Terry Metalis. It was,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it was named after him when he was like a production assistant on Star Trek Enterprise. That was season 2. That was Trip in the episode. Dawn said he had seen the ringed moons of Metallus Prime. And that was named
Yes.
after Terry Metalis, who at the time was just a production assistant on Enterprise. And now that he's showrunner, he's like, well, this planet is canon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so great.
Fantastic.
That was great. That's one of those little Easter eggs that when you first see it, you're like, nah, that's cute. And then you dig into it just a little bit more and you're like, that's great. That is really good.
That, I always love an Enterprise reference. So,
No.
because I love Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, for sure. So this scene, we catch up with Raffi again, and I'm going to be genuine here. I was really surprised at a lot of people online talking about how they bought it. They were like, oh no, she's fallen off the wagon and all of this stuff, and she's at her wit's end. And I, like, from the very beginning of this scene, I was like, no. She's undercover. She's trying to figure things out. She's back with Starfleet intelligence. I was really surprised by how many people thought that was genuine, which is good. Like if they managed to do that and convince those people, that's awesome. But I did not for a second think she was off the wagon or anything there.
Agreed. There was, in fact, I think I turned to Dave and said, hey, she's undercover. She's got to be undercover. And so we were just waiting for it. And then we finally are like, yes, we were right. Because there is no way that after everything that Raffi went through in seasons 1 and 2, there's no way that she's going to jeopardize that again.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. The one thing I did like that they did do is when she gets the narcotics.
Mhm.
Like, it's a struggle. Like, once an
Mhm.
addict, always an addict. Like, it's still there. Like,
Yep.
so I appreciated that. I thought that was good. And like, she's still struggling with her demons. She's you know, at her wit's end, basically. Like, so I liked seeing that struggle, but I did not think that she was actually as far gone as she was there. So I
Mhm.
was not surprised when she turned out to be undercover.
Yep,
Bruce!
me either. Bruce, welcome back.
Thank you. I think I got my bug worked out. It was something in my browser.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah, you
weird.
seem much more
Stable.
yeah, stable.
Yeah, exactly. I'm as stable as Raffi is right now.
Which is, you're doing pretty good then.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what they did with her character in this too, because, you know, to just throw that away, it's always going to be a struggle instead of just like, yep, she's fine now. She's over it, you know, but you can still, you know, she's keeping that strength and trying to keep going. So yeah, I love that about her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's grilling this Orion guy for information. She gets the red lady out of him, but that's basically it. Something to do with an upcoming attack, but that's it. And then, and I have to absolutely agree with this.
Mhm.
She like goes like, 3 meters down an alleyway, whips out a communicator, and just for the benefit of the audience says very loudly, "This is Starfleet Intelligence Undercover Officer Commander Raffi Musiker." And I'm like, really?
Yeah. Well, the music
settle down.
was really loud in there. I mean, they had a good techno beat going on in there. That was loud. And people are junkies too. You know, people in there are junkies. They're down on their luck. They're
Not
addicts.
everybody though.
Not everybody. So, but yeah, it was. I was just like, well, maybe go back to your ship. Maybe.
Yeah, just do that from the ship, or because all she does there, like, she requests a meeting, and she asks for more money, and I'm like, both of those could have waited a little bit, like, it wasn't like if she was providing intelligence, like, I've learned of this attack, it's here, go now, like, okay, but that's the one part of this episode where I was like, I would have done that a little differently.
Yeah,
But
agree. And
Yeah.
yet I'm just like, nah, I've
Yeah,
seen
it's
worse.
not the most egregious thing in the world, but
Yeah,
it's like,
but using that old style communicator, that's interesting. Have we ever seen in this time frame from TNG on anyone use that style of communicator?
I couldn't think of
I can't
any.
think of any. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
was interesting.
Well, especially since the TOS era, they've had subcutaneous transponders or communicators, right? Like under the skin communicators. So I think someone from Starfleet Intelligence, they might get patted down at some point. They might get searched, like big, huge, bulky communicator.
They are big and huge. This is bulky. This is heavy,
Yeah.
y'all. This is heavy.
Yeah. So why would Raffi use that, or not use the motion picture wristbands? Hey,
Yeah.
This is a very spy thing to do.
They gotta do the one ear thing.
Yeah. I hate when they do that, like
Oh, I know.
in spy shows and whatnot. It's like they do this. No, don't do that. Everyone's gonna know you're a spy. Are you a freaking idiot? Come on.
I never saw the movie, but Tom Holland was in it. I think it was Uncharted. In the trailer, they had him like doing that, and the one guy's like, "Stop touching your ear. You look like an idiot."
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I always love old movies and TV shows where they're on the phone and like somebody hangs up immediately and they look at the phone. Now, before screen, right?
I know. And it's like, why do that? It's like they're going, they hung up on me.
John, I gotta touch it. Wait, John. And they look at the and of course that works nowadays because you look at the screen. Did I lose signal? But back then you couldn't. So there'd be plenty of Raffi's like, did it? Hello. Anyway.
Oh man.
Oh.
Or wait, you're like, Picard to Enterprise. Why is nobody answering? Let me look.
It'd be funny if they just pluck it off and look at it like. It's basically the 24th century version of the looking at the receiver when someone hangs up on you.
Oh, I love it.
And that's another thing. I'm sorry, I'm going off. This is why I should not be on the show. The other thing I
No.
find funny is when they're always communicating. You notice when somebody's on a view screen and they're communicating, no one ever says goodbye. They just hang up.
Mhm.
No one ever says goodbye. They're like, well, I'll talk to you later. I'll see you around. But they're all just like, Picard, we're coming to save you. And they hang up.
What? And it's the same with phones in movies and stuff too. They always do that every time. It's like, okay, I'll see you at the whatever. Okay, click. And I'm like, if I was the other person, I'd be like, what the hell, man?
You just hung up on me. We have to do that whole thing. Oh, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you first. You hang up. Maybe that's what they're trying to avoid, is that.
Yeah. I mean, like to get the plot going, I guess.
Yeah.
But it just always stuck out to me for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
But that was so much fun. I got a good strong laugh out of that.
Well, from there we go to Earth Space Dock, and oh, that is gorgeous. That is
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
So pretty. My heart.
We've got a few starships flying around. There's a Sovereign class up in the corner, which I thought was pretty cool. There's one in the bottom right that, like, if you kind of squint and unfocus a little bit, looks enough like a California class that, like, I can pretend that's what it's not what it was. But I would have loved to have seen a little, like, California class zipping by or something. That would be so great.
Yeah, I would love that too. Come on. Give us that.
Yeah, we're bound to see that at some point, right?
Right? Come on.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. We got a lot of episodes to go. We got 9 more episodes to go. Surely they can squeeze in a California class ship in one of those.
Oh, I hope so. That would be fun. And yeah, so we're finding out from Riker that they're going to fake an inspection to get aboard a ship and get it to change course. And it's the Titan A they're going aboard, the new refit, the Neo Constitution class. And that
seems like more than a refit to me.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so
like a rebuild.
Yeah, they released some background information on this, which kind of, I'm like, I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it too a little bit, where basically the original Titan, or the Luna class Titan, was heavily damaged and brought into space dock, and it was going to be undergo a refit. But then they decided that it was kind of too far gone, so they're going to build a whole new ship, basically. But they were still going to use components of that ship in the space frame of this new ship. And I'm like,
that's a long reach.
Yeah. So that's supplemental material outside the episode for the fans, right? And B, I'm like, I don't think they needed to do that. I think they should have just had the ship be destroyed or too heavily damaged and retired, and then just build a new ship. Don't bother saying there are still bulkheads in space. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't
agree.
like that.
It doesn't. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I don't necessarily mind it, but it doesn't make any sense. Unless there's some plot point they're going to use with that later, but I don't see any. Unless still they want to connect Riker. Like, this is still, why not just say?
Ooh, we're kind of losing you there, Bruce.
Me?
Shoot.
Oh, I'm.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, unless there's some sort of like plot connection at some point, I feel like it's not. I feel like it's just a bit of fan service to kind of connect it, but it feels unnecessary, I think.
It does. And am I the only person that thinks that the saucer section of the Titan A looks a bit like the blade of a Lurpa?
I could see that. Yeah, it's got the little
Little bit.
cutouts at the back, make it like a
Yeah. I'm not criticizing, because
Mhm.
give me all the ship porn, you guys. Give it to me. And there's
yeah.
I do love looking at it.
Okay, yeah. So let's put aside the weirdness of its connection to the old Titan, and as much as I would have loved to see the Titan be, the Titan we know from the novels and Lower Decks and stuff, this ship is gorgeous. It is
Mm,
beautiful.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
so much fun to see.
It's so pretty, and we get beautiful shots of it, going out of space dock, and I'm just like, and of course here's me. And the second time that I watched the episode, which was when it dropped for everybody this past Thursday, and you see it, moving out, and I said, they're heading towards it, and I'm just like, actually, can you just spend 5 minutes flying around it like in the motion picture? I would really appreciate that. Can you do that for? Oh, you're not going to do that for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked that too.
No.
People complain about that scene in the motion picture, and I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Right?
It's beautiful. Every
It's one
second
of
of
my
it is
favorite
beautiful.
scenes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I put in the DVD or Blu-ray or even watch streaming, and just to watch that.
Mhm.
Just watch that part. I love that part. It's like a little
Yeah.
music video for me about Kirk and the Enterprise. That's what it is.
It's so good.
Has
Yeah.
no words. It's just, it's so perfect.
Yeah. No, I love that too. And they need to release like the fan edit episodes of like
Yeah.
the total fan service cut. That's what that's
Mhm.
what it would be called. Yeah.
Yep.
Where they fly around it 10 times, and the Titan shuttle bay is like, shuttle 3, you can land anytime.
I would be so there for that. I just love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Oh. So okay, we get Riker and Picard coming on board, and we see 7 of the. Oh, I'm sorry. We're apparently supposed to dead name her, Commander Annika Hansen, because her captain prefers that.
And right away, we know a lot about the captain.
Yeah, insert rant about dead naming people. By the way,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go on forever about it, but that was dude, man. That's not cool. Anyway, but so great to see 7 of 9 again, and there's obviously something. She's obviously kind of chafing against her current position, but not really outwardly showing it. But you know her well enough to kind of get that vibe from her, from how she cuts off Picard when he's introducing her. And we get the little showy bit of them doing the parade inspection and stuff, and Picard harumphing and adjusting comm badges and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, and the guy that gives him side eye, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
he's suspicious. Suspicious guy. Keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we didn't really talk about the guy in the bar that was like looking at them as they left, and then he plunked the little Enterprise into the drink. And I think somebody pointed out that that's the Enterprise from the Attack Wing game. It also really looks like a little pewter keychain Enterprise.
Yep.
Either way, I was like, the fat one. Nobody respects the fat one.
Yeah. So yeah, because it was just like they focused on that guy a little too long. That guy's going to be important later.
Interesting. I like that.
Side eye.
So yeah, the captain isn't there to greet them, though. A flag officer and former captain come aboard, and
it says a lot about the captain. We are learning a lot from just very little. We haven't even seen him yet, and we already know a lot about this guy.
Because I remember seeing that scene and going like, why are they not bringing the captain? Are we even going to see this captain? Like, I almost thought that they were just like trying to write the captain out of the show.
No, they are not. Yeah, and I'm sorry. Why is the bridge so dark?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people commenting about that.
Because they want to accommodate anybody who comes over from the mirror universe, so they can.
Okay. It's all about eye strain. That was actually my first theory. Oh, they're trying to cut down on eye strain.
Yeah, well, because
Also,
it is interesting when you
there it
watch
is.
that, and then if you go straight to TNG and see how bright the bridge is, you know.
Yeah.
a little too bright, if I'm being honest. The TNG bridge. Woof. It's
Yeah.
really bright. Voyager was like perfect. You know,
Mhm.
not too bright, not too dark.
Yeah.
Voyager, mwah, loved it.
No. I did like this comment about, you know, they seem to have a power outage on the inside. It's pretty on the outside though. On the inside, whatever.
Maybe it's the captain's fault. Maybe he wants it like that. I will say this though, lots of ladies on the bridge, loving
Mhm.
that. Lots of ladies.
Yeah, I'm liking the supplemental material released as well, telling us who some of the bridge officers are and stuff. That was pretty cool. A Hellian officer who from the wonderful TNG episode Aquiel. Terrible episode, but cool to see, you know, species being brought back that we've never seen elsewhere, right? I like that. You know, you have such a huge catalog of diversity in the Federation. It's kind of fun to see some of those reused and brought back a bit. That was
Agreed. Agreed. That Aquiel could have been so much better, but it was basically a terrible ripoff of the thing. And I was not there for it.
Cool. No. And I mean, yeah, like, anyway, I won't go on a huge rant, but do we need more episodes in the back catalog that just make LaForge look creepy? That's not cool.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool.
Anyway, the whole leaving space dock scene, I mean, so many references to Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, and Star Trek 6. The leaving space dock sequence from Star Trek 6 is one of my favorites. It feels so like seasoned veterans leaving on a ship, and like very like I love that they recreate the dialogue where Kirk says, "Uhura, get me the dockmaster," and control tower reading, sir. And I'm just like, oh, this all recreated nicely. It's all fan service, and I'm here for it. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yes, I loved it too.
Me too. Absolutely.
Oh, and Crash LaForge.
Yes.
She was delightful. I loved her little, like, first of all, just that huge grin. Is there something wrong with that ensign? Like, Ensign LaForge, eyes on your station. LaForge! Oh.
Yeah, but that's a great point just there, that the humor in all this that's worked in through the episode is nice. It's not too forced, right? It's that character kind of humor.
Yeah. And it feels very natural, which is nice. Like, not forced, like you said, absolutely. It feels very organic from these characters and stuff. And this is obviously also a bit of a callback to Generations and Demora Sulu. Like, it's a similar type scene, but it's got its own spin on it. It's not just a direct copy. I love that Riker is just having so much fun ribbing her. And it's like, oh, you crashed a shuttle. Crash, LaForge? And she's like, yeah, I did. Twice. Oh, okay.
And everybody else on the bridge is just like, trying to show respect.
The humor from Riker in this feels more Jonathan Frakes than he did in the original series. Not the original series, the TNG series. You know?
Yeah. Which I feel like fits, though, because he's not a subordinate in a ship following military orders. He feels like more of an elder statesman who has a little bit more free reign to kind of just be Riker, you know? I like that.
Agree. Yeah.
Yes, love it.
So the leaving space dock, that was all lovely. We get just nice long lingering shots of this ship. Some other ship classes flying around in the background. So much fun.
Love it.
And then we finally get to meet Captain Shaw. And oh man, Todd Stashwick
is a genius.
He's a freaking genius. I
Mhm.
love the. I hate the character because you're supposed to hate the character at this point, but I love this guy in this role. He's so good. I have watched this first episode 4 times. I have watched that dinner scene 8 times because I love that scene so much.
The way it's filmed too, the way that we see him cutting into this, I don't know, was it meat? I don't know what it was, plant substitute for meat, etc. And then swirling it around in what looked like A1 sauce. I don't know. just all of this. I'm like, oh, that's a power move right there. That is a power move.
Mhm.
And that is the sort of thing that insecure people do, is
Mhm.
to make someone else feel less than because you started without them. You don't care that they're here. And I'm just like, oh, honey, who hurt you? But yeah,
Oh,
honestly, I had such a knee-jerk reaction to this the first time I watched it, and something that Bruce said actually brought me out of that and made me, and I can't say what Bruce said, and made me rethink that and rewatch it and see it in a different way. And I just thought there's a lot more going on underneath the surface, because yeah, you can just take this guy as another Jellicoe. No, he is not. He is not. And uh yeah, I just thought I'm going to try to appreciate this. I'm going to try to appreciate this. I love Todd Stashwick. Love him, love him, love him. I would watch him in anything. And my love will never die. Also, I started following him on Twitter. He's a genuinely great person, as far as I can tell. So, so yeah, and a lot of people reacted the exact way that I did, as far as Captain Shaw, and I understand it. I do, but maybe there's something more going on beneath the surface, folks. Just saying.
Yes.
there's a lot going on. Just even just with this first episode, like I said, rewatching that scene and seeing the subtleties, it is so good. And I mean, like, yeah, at first you're like, oh, this guy's just being a jerk because this is the way he's talking to our heroes, right? But even just on the face of it, if you think about, what these two are trying to do, like, they are very much undermining his command, and he
Mhm.
knows it. And what I think is going on is he can't directly call them out on this because of their position and their reputation, but he can throw roadblocks in their way and say, no, you're not just going to use me. Show me the basic courtesy of telling me what it is you're going to do, or to hell with you. I'm not playing this game. I don't play games on my ship, and I don't know. There's so much there, and I just love this. He does not even stand up when they walk in the room. Like,
Right.
Well, their reputations had already proceeded so far into the room before they even got there. So
Yeah.
what a line.
Yeah, because I mean, if you really think about those characters, and if you put yourself in universe in his place, right? It's like, think about Picard and what we even learned in season 1 of Picard, how he,
Oh,
left Starfleet, and he wasn't the hero, fell and wasn't as well liked, and he had his opinions about Starfleet and all this, and now this guy just like comes back in on his own. And then you've got 7 to 9, who he doesn't know really. 7, he has a personal relationship with her, a former Borg that came and then joined the Ferris Rangers, and then she gets this free pass to be a first officer on the ship. Like, and you got to look at these 3 and go, like, these people to him are a mess, and they're coming in and going to call the shots around here, and they're going to make decisions and help be my support. I got to make sure that they understand that this is my ship and I'm in control, and I'm not playing their games. Yeah, as much of a jerk as he comes across as, and maybe is, at the same time, you kind of have to understand his position isn't all that far off.
mhm.
I absolutely believe, and I said it at the time, is that he absolutely has every right to say no, because what they are proposing is ridiculous. We know why they need to get there, but this ruse was not planned. This is not a plan. It's a, what was it? What did Riker call it? It's not a plan. It's a what?
I think you might have
Ruse.
just said ruse.
It's
Yeah.
a ruse. And I just thought, yeah, of course, any captain of any ship that didn't know them personally, that hadn't served with them, etc., any captain of any ship would do the exact same thing. Maybe in not such a dick way, but they would absolutely go, no.
Mm-hmm. And so a couple points as well. I love Tristan Schwartz's comment on the Positively Trek discussion group for this episode here. I also love Picard and Riker being in the role of bad admiral coming aboard under false pretenses that they themselves had to contend with many times and being totally inept at it. I love that. That was
fantastic.
So good.
Fantastic. Love that take.
So good. And the other thing that I just wanted to bring up, I love when Shaw says no to them and they're just shocked. And Picard says, you know that I'm an admiral. He says, retired. And Riker says, and I'm a captain without a chair. And that totally brought me back to the TOS. We did a Positively Trek episode, me and Jesse Gender with David Mack talking about his latest TOS novel, Harm's Way. And there's kind of a similar situation where a lower grade admiral just totally tears the strip off an admiral who's one grade higher. And we got into a bit of a discussion of like, how can that happen? What, and he's like, well, this guy has plenary control over this sector of space, and this guy screwed that up by sending the Enterprise in. So, he can tear a strip off that guy because he has operational control over this, and that guy is sitting in a desk and doesn't even have a command. And he was talking about how, like a commander who's commanding a small naval ship can dress down a captain who has a shore assignment because this is his ship, his rules. And I was flashing back to that, and I was like, whoever wrote this scene understands that about the military. And I love that. I thought that was really well done without a chair. Like, that was so good.
Yeah.
All that needs to be said in just that little line. I love it.
Yes.
And yeah, Tristan, thank you. Yeah, Picard's sucking at being a bad girl. Absolutely.
He's had so many examples he could have followed. I mean, come on, man. You should be better at this.
Yep, definitely. Oh, man. So that was fun. And then, of course, we've got them saying, kind of giving their cards away as they walk out, and Seven kind of following them and listening, going like, okay, what the hell's going on here? By the way, shout out to Jerry Ryan. And she's so good in this episode. And we'll get to my favorite scene with her in a few minutes. But man, she's awesome.
Yes, she is.
But for now, we pop back to La Serena, and Rafi is trying to contact her handler, this mysterious handler at Starfleet Intelligence that contacts her just via text. Nice little moment here. We see her looking at footage of her granddaughter, who we saw her daughter-in-law pregnant with in season 1. So it's kind of a nice little connection there.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's trying to inform them about this red lady. They don't know what it is. They can't figure it out. And she's being refused a face-to-face meeting. So
suspicious.
Very suspicious.
The no face-to-face meeting.
Yes.
I feel like that's suspicious.
Yeah.
But the handler reminds her that she is a warrior. And
very interesting choice of words.
Very interesting. Definitely jumped out at me in this. That was interesting. So yeah. Okay. So that's a quick scene that we get there, but telling and interesting that she's still struggling, right? We get that for sure. And her handler knows about her history and stuff. But from there we go to a scene where I was laughing, and this is Picard and Riker on the bunk beds.
He he says my favorite thing. He says, I don't remember that having to get up this many times to pee. And I'm like, sir, I know the feeling.
I do remember laughing at that, and I'm thinking, man, I wish they would have some more medical advances to take care of that.
Right? Right?
Oh.
They can't fix that. They can't fix hair. They can't fix splatters. I mean, come on. What are you good for?
I do like that Picard pulled rank and got the bottom bunk, though. Like, that's totally what he would do.
Well, because I heard on set they had a hard time getting Patrick Stewart to climb up to the top bunk. No, I'm kidding.
Rude.
But yeah, so from here they're called by Seven of Nine, and she basically asks to speak freely and says, you're going to tell me what's going on here. I'm going to toss you out the airlock and never look back. And I like that the scene is punctuated, and you kind of forget that, yeah, Riker and Seven have never met, right? So Riker is just like, how dare you? And Picard's like, it's like, that's how I speak to a friend. I like that.
Yeah.
This is my favorite Seven scene. This is so good. Where she has had the privilege of serving under Janeway, and Janeway having mentored her and helped her rediscover her humanity. And now she's serving under Shaw, and a completely different type of captain. Janeway, due to circumstances, that ship was more like a family and that sort of thing. This is, Shaw's way or the highway. You can't even be called by the name you want to be called by. You can't trust your gut, can't trust your instincts. You just follow orders. And I love that Seven, we get her kind of bearing her heart here and saying how she feels. And, when she was with the Rangers, it was one way, but, you and Janeway convinced me to come back to Starfleet, which is a nice little reference to the comic series, Brandi, you and I covered in Positively Trek Book Club. Yay.
Yes, yay.
I love this scene. Jerry Ryan is amazing.
Yeah, it actually made me tear up. So, because she's just, she deserves better. She deserves respect, and she deserves to be honored for her contributions that she makes to this crew, and Shaw just is not gonna do that.
No. Yeah, it's definitely not the right fit for her,
No. And maybe this just occurred to me. Maybe she was placed there purposely to challenge Shaw, to challenge his viewpoints. I don't know why that just occurred to me, but it just feels like it was purposeful.
But who would have placed her there? I can see Admiral Janeway trying to get her revenge onto Shaw for whatever reason and putting Seven there because she knew Seven can handle him. I want to see a scene with Shaw and Admiral Janeway at some point.
Please, from your mouth to God's ears, to the writer's ears. I don't know why that didn't occur to me before now, but it seems to me like it's very purposeful, especially because he seems to have a problem with Borg.
I was going to bring this up. He talks about Picard and Seven, former ex-Borg, and all this stuff. And there's that little bit in the closing credits that shows the Constellation class ship lost in action, Stardate 44. Basically, the Stardate puts it right at the start of season 4 of TNG, which would be Wolf 359, right? So I'm wondering if there's a connection with Shaw there. And that's a really good point, Bruce. Maybe Seven was put there not to grow Seven's career, but like you said, to challenge Shaw and to test him a bit, maybe, and push against some of his that's interesting. I think that's kind of cool.
Especially if Janeway's the one who did it and she had a conversation with Seven. She said, "You're not going to like this bastard, but that's why you're there, is to take care of him," or something like that.
I feel like, every Starfleet officer has had a psych profile. So whoever evaluated him has to know what his biases are. And obviously has a bias against Borg. And, anyone who was at Wolf 359, which I'm pretty sure he was, just because, I mean, especially with his current age, he's obviously been in Starfleet for a while. I just feel like he's got an axe to grind, especially with how he speaks to Picard and to Seven. And I just feel like there's that thing there. There's that thing there. And I think I even said out loud when I was watching the episode the first time, I think I said, was he at Wolf 359? Because that would explain a lot. And I think, I didn't make this connection until just now live on the air, that she was placed there purposely. And that actually reframes a lot of things for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is an interesting point, because if she wasn't placed there purposely, then why would she be placed there, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't choose her, I wouldn't think.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So someone put her there unless it was just like, put her over there. Or maybe someone knows that maybe somebody put her there that doesn't like Borg and knows he's an ass, and she wants to come into Starfleet and she just gets this free pass in. Okay, put her with Shaw. Let's see how she does over there with that dude.
That could be too, yeah.
I don't know.
It could go either way, but I think that her placement there was planned, that it was for a reason, not just because there was an opening.
I like that. I like that the best.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to ride that and see where it goes.
Yes.
Huh. Oh, interesting thoughts. I'm curious now. That's cool. So yeah, we find out, of course, Seven's saying all this stuff, but in the meantime, she has actually changed course against orders and brought them to the Rayton system and given them a chance to go hijack a shuttle. So
in exactly 4 minutes, and I mean 4 minutes.
Seven's time estimates are not estimates at all. They are exact.
No.
But yeah, they fly off in a shuttle to find whatever it is they're going to find. Meanwhile, we pop back just to the La Serena, and we find out that Rafi eventually has figured out what the Red Lady is. This statue dedication to Captain Rachel Garrett, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my question: why is it red? Why?
I don't know.
Is it red? It looks like it's something forged in hellfire. What the hell is that?
It might be like, so this statue is on Metallis Prime. That might be like a local mineral that has significance there, or something. Like maybe it's something that's traditionally used in that culture.
They have red clay. So
yeah.
I still just feel like that is one thing that I have not gotten an explanation for. Why? Why? Just
well, but I guess because if it was like, find the stone lady, sounds like a statue, or the bronze lady, and they're like red. People will think, red lady, like, wearing red or something.
Is it Michael Burnham back? Is the Red Angel appearing? What's happening?
Yeah, it was so incongruent to everything around it visually. I'm just like, why is it blood red? I don't understand.
Yeah, that is weird. But it's funny because watching it with my wife, I mean, she's not as deep into Trek as we are. I'm sure she's seen yesterday's Enterprise at some point, but I'm like, do you know who Rachel Garrett is? No. And I had to explain to her, and she's like, okay. I'm like, do you remember that episode? Not really. I'm like, okay, I have to show her that again.
Mm-hmm. I distinctly remember that episode.
Yeah.
We all
distinctly.
Do. Yeah. So this planet is interesting too, Metallis Prime, because District 6 is where we start, where all the stuff is, and then the Starfleet Recruitment Center. And I think it's interesting that it's a recruitment center, they say, is in District 7. So it's not a Federation world. There's just a recruitment center on it, I guess, that gets
a big one.
A really big facility. And I guess we probably will never get an answer about why the statue is red, because it's gone. Like, it is gone. This whole thing this interesting portal weapon kind of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was just like, wow, it really is just like the game Portal. Look at that. Look at that. And that's where my middle name comes from, is one of the subtitles. People screaming, because there are just so many people screaming.
Yeah.
So many people screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Boy, that's Rafi's reaction to that, I think, was very real. Like, how do you even comprehend what's going on in front of you? Man.
Mm-hmm. And someone
Well,
was obviously jamming comms because she couldn't get in touch with them to warn them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
but,
more to come on that.
I'm
Sorry.
disappointed we don't have the Rios holograms showing up.
Yeah.
I miss
Yeah.
him.
Me too.
Because they were all combined into one by 7, so I miss him. I just want more Santiago Cabrera. Just, is that so wrong? I don't think it is.
No,
Definitely not.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, so we pop back to Picard and Riker, and they find the Helios, Crusher's ship, and dock with it. There's one strong life sign, one very weak life sign, which they determined is Crusher. They get aboard and kind of see the aftermath of this battle. We find out that Picard gave Crusher a mixtape, which that's adorable.
Mixtapes still exist. I love it. I love it.
And this is where we really meet Ed Spilliers as Crusher's son. And
Love him.
I just reiterate everything I said. Like, I immediately thought Tom Hardy and Shinzon, and I'm like, there's things there. Anyway.
Yeah, it's funny because that didn't occur to me at all.
Me either.
No.
So you picked up on something that we did not. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely when he spoke, like he's got the same like cadence, and I was just like, oh, I think they're trying to. Yeah. Come on, we'll find out soon. I'm sure, one way or the other.
I don't know if we will. I think they're going to drag it out. I think they're going to drag it out.
Yeah, could be, man. I don't know, but we find out they're being hunted. They have different faces each time. That was an interesting little tidbit. And then we get the shot of the big Shrike ship, I guess, this enemy ship that's quite intimidating looking. So
yeah. Did anyone notice Beverly was in the fridge?
I mean, quite literally, but not fridged, but in a fridge. Yeah.
That was definitely, I think, a nod. So like, yeah, we did this to her in the past. She's not gonna stay there, y'all. She's not gonna spend the whole season in the fridge.
That is so fun. I did not even think
that
of that.
Is funny.
That's perfect.
That's pretty good.
I immediately thought of that. I said, I might have even said to Dave can confirm or deny, I can't remember. I might have even said, did they just fridge Beverly? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's kind of where the narrative of the episode ends, and then we get what would have been the opening credits back in the day. We get this credit sequence, which Elcar's as a credit sequence is gorgeous, and how have they not thought of that before? I love it. I think that's really cool.
It's beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Yeah. With so many Easter eggs and little references throughout.
Clues even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And also linked to the person whose name is on screen at the time, I noticed as well. Like, there's a performance evaluation written by Shaw when Jerry Ryan's name comes up. There's do not seek blame, do not seek anger. Pops up when Michelle Hurd's name comes up. All kinds of stuff like that where, and obviously places for future names, like we see the Fleet Museum thing, which we have heard earlier in the episode, LaForge is in charge of the Fleet Museum, so this
Mhm.
space reserved for LeVar Burton's name, possibly, so yeah.
Gotta happen.
Mhm.
My only thing, and I'm not the only person who has said this, and I'm not angry about it, but when we first watched the credits and they were playing the first contact music, it was kind of jarring because it did not fit the tone of the series so far. And now I have more information and I understand that they were basically writing a musical love letter to Jerry Goldsmith. I understand all of that,
Mhm.
but it still doesn't feel right to me.
Hmm.
And that's fine. That is fine. I understand what they're doing. I applaud them for it. It's okay. But it's still weird to me. It still just is like that. It doesn't quite fit. Doesn't quite fit. I mean, I love the first contact music. I do.
Mhm.
But this is a much darker series. And it just feels out of place for me.
Hmm.
In fact, Dave was convinced it was placeholder music. And I said, honey, no, it's not. This is going to premiere in 3 weeks. And this is definitely not placeholder music.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's not, it doesn't make me angry. It just, when we get to those end credits, it's always like gear shift for me.
Yeah. I love that piece of music so much. So
I do
It's-
too. I absolutely adore it. I have the soundtrack. It's one of my favorite soundtracks to listen to.
It's one of the
And
first movie soundtracks I ever bought, actually.
yeah. Oh, I started buying movie soundtracks with Back to the Future. That's how old I am.
Nice.
But
So good.
on cassette tape. Yeah, like the year the movie came out. Yeah, that's how old I am. So yeah, I have no complaints. I love the music. It just feels wrong to me.
Fair enough.
I think it worked for me. But yeah, and at some point though, I kind of miss that we're in Star Trek Picard, but without the Star Trek Picard theme. I mean,
Which
Yeah.
I love.
there's some
Yeah.
other
I was-
there, but
I was crushed that I didn't get more of that theme. Like I thought, oh, maybe they're going to do a third version of it because they had the first version of it for
Right.
season 1, and then they had the more intense version of it for season 2, or maybe they'll just keep that, and because this, to balance the intensity for season 3. And no, it's just completely gone.
yeah, in some
Yeah.
ways, in a lot of ways, this doesn't even feel like it should be Star Trek Picard season 3, just Star Trek, some other series that takes place after the 2 seasons of Star Trek Picard. But because of the theme, it's more of a TNG movie theme
Mhm.
and not a Picard theme. And, this is really turning out to be very much a TNG reunion. But, I mean, it's still Star Trek Picard. But it kind of feels like it's a hybrid of the two. But it's also, we've been seeing other things like in Discovery, seeing more of the TOS theme being used, even in end
Mhm.
credits and things like that occasionally. So it's like they're
Mhm.
mixing and matching things now.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I've seen comments online where the creators of the show want this to be like, this is TNG season 8, like this is, blah 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 blah, which I have mixed feelings on as well, because I envision, like, flash forward 15-20 years in the future, and there's a new Star Trek fan who's wants to watch Star Trek, and that somebody out there is going to say, like, oh, watch this and this, skip the first 2 seasons of Picard, just watch season 3, blah blah. And that makes me kind of sad, like, as many problems as I had with elements of those first 2 seasons, I think they're important, and I kind of wish more of that had been carried through a little bit. Like, we have Rafi, we have her journey that brings her into season 3, 7 of 9, we've got that thread coming through, but that's really about it. I guess Laris, but like thematically and plot wise, there's not a lot that really carries through, which is kind of too bad.
Yeah, especially since they did Agnes dirty. I'm sorry, but they did. They did Agnes dirty,
Yeah.
and I bet you money we will never see her in live action again. We will never see that particular Borg Queen in live action again. They'll probably
Yeah.
do a comic or something
I was just
featuring
gonna
her.
say.
but we'll never hear from her again in canon.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really too bad.
And they killed my Rios, and I will never forgive them for that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I really want Evan Evagora to show up somewhere in something as Elnor live action. Like,
please.
He's not even dead. He's just out there.
Well, no, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm actually hoping that by the end of this series, this season, it ends at Starfleet, on Earth, and we see Elnor at the Academy or something, or at least joining a ship or a crew on something. But I am hoping we see Elnor at the end.
Yeah, or throw him into Lower Decks or Prodigy. You can find a place for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. Also, the one thing I wanted to mention as well is the dedication for Annie at the end. That was really touching. Which, now correct me if I'm wrong, that was added for the aired version of the episode. That wasn't on the screener copy, right? Because that came up and I was like, wait.
Yeah, well, speaking of Annie Wershing, anyone who's been watching The Last of Us on HBO, which is, for those who don't know, is based on a video game, but it is the best video game adaptation you could possibly ever want. And
it was filmed in my home province of Alberta.
I love it. I can't wait till they get to Salt Lake City, because they go to Salt Lake City in the game, and I bet they get it wrong.
I'm sure they will.
But I want to just see the Mormon temple in ruins. Anyway, sorry. I'm evil. But there's an amazing episode. I got to be on a podcast about the third episode of The Last of Us, which is amazing and wonderful, and made me cry buckets.
100%.
And the day that it was released, which is the day that I watched it, it was the day that Annie passed away. Obviously they didn't have anything in there honoring her. But when I rewatched it again for a podcast that I was going to be on, there was a title card at the beginning that said, "For Annie." And I'm just like, or was it dedicated to Annie? In any case, and I'm just like, and I'm already crying. I'm gonna need 2 boxes of tissues now.
Wow.
So yeah, it was beautiful that they did that.
Yeah, I forgot she was Tess in the game, right?
Yes, she was.
Oh man, I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah.
Brutal. 45, so young.
That scares me, because I'm 49, and people younger than I am are dying, and it breaks my heart, and it just really hit me hard.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, let's just say it right here, she was incredible as the Borg Queen in season 2. Like, there's so many moments watching that season that just jumped out to me about her performance. Like, rewatch that episode where she's on stage and Picard is delaying having to execute her, and the look on her face where she's like, what are you gonna do now? This is hilarious. I love it. She's so good. She was incredible.
I did like her in that, and then I was reminded later that I saw her at Star Trek Mission Chicago. She actually went to a Star Trek convention, and she was, just so delightful on stage, having a good time, yucking up with the fans. Like, you would think she'd been doing Star Trek conventions forever, and she'd been with this cast forever. I mean, she was just, just full of life and just having a great time. She seemed like a really awesome person.
Yeah. And the fact that she chose to do with what time she had, she chose to do that and spend that time with the fans and making those connections. How special is that? Like, what an amazing gift to give the fans. And it's clear, like, she was enjoying herself and she was loving that. And I love that she got to do that and experience that. And man, every time I think about the pictures, I never got to see her or anything like that, but pictures from so many fellow fans having met her and at those conventions, and it just breaks my heart, but makes me smile at the same time.
Yep. I'm going to quickly address one question in chat. Wellington, yes, it is worth the HBO to get HBO for The Last of Us. Here's what I would recommend doing. I would recommend waiting until all of the episodes are out. And I think the final episode, I want to say, is whatever day the Academy Awards is. Maybe March 19th. I can't remember. So, but they may actually move that to Friday, because they did that with the Super Bowl weekend episode. They moved it to Friday so that it wouldn't come out on Sunday and possibly cause problems with ratings. Wait until the entire season is over, and then do a free trial. HBO is always offering free trials. Get in there, binge it. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, and it's incredible. We're watching it week to week here as well, and loving that show. I think initially we were just watching it because it was all filmed in Alberta, and like there's a Travel Alberta website that summarizes each episode and says where all the filming locations were, and we were following that along. But it's genuinely an amazing show. Like, we're loving it on that level too.
It is. I was not actually wanting to watch it until I heard there was Pedro Pascal, and I'm like, oh, I'll watch anything that guy's in. Absolutely anything. And that's before The Mandalorian. I was a fan of his before The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
So and it has just been knowing, because having played the game, I know what's different and I know what's the same. And hey, that rhymed. And honestly, any choices that they have made, any changes that they have made in the live action series, I feel have all been for the better and have supported the narrative more. So I think they're doing a bang up job with this show. I don't know at what point in the game they're actually going to end this season. So I don't know how far they're going to get yet. But if this season is just the first game, there is a second game. So there is material for a second season. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, the SNL Mario Kart trailer.
So great! I laughed so hard for that
So good.
entire thing. I was rolling. I haven't laughed that hard at an SNL fake commercial, and I can't tell you how long.
It was so good.
I was just dying. I was crying. I was crying laughing.
Brilliant. Well, let's just briefly bring it back to Picard and give our final thoughts and ratings for the season premiere, The Next Generation. Bruce, did you want to lead us off with your final thoughts and how you would rate this episode? I'm sure very low and just like, the worst of Trek ever, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I would say it's my favorite season premiere of any Star Trek Picard season. How's that? But well, I don't know. That second season premiere was pretty good too. But no, I mean, I liked it. It worked. I thought the writing, the acting, the directing, I think everything was all. Even a hateful character like Shaw, but the performance was done so well that's why I enjoy it. And seeing Seven's character in the Starfleet uniform working, it felt more like Voyager, because she's serving on a starship like we saw in Voyager, because it had that feel to it. So it kind of brought that back to me. And then the interplay between Picard and Riker was nice, and seeing Crusher, of course, just and getting a lot of her and seeing like it's not just a little cameo. It seems like she's got a lot to do in this season. So I really liked it, but anytime I watch something Star Trek and I like it, I'm like, okay, am I going to go online and find out everybody hates it? And I just I'm one of the few that likes it, but it sounds like most people like it. So yeah, I'll give it 5 out of 5 times that Shaw swirled his meat on his plate.
I really enjoyed this episode. After season 2, I was not exactly excited. And I wasn't excited about a TNG reunion either. And then that teaser trailer came out and I got emotional, and I thought, okay, you can get my emotions, then you have me. So I'm going to give this a shot. And so I went in with the idea that I was going to just let it roll over me and see how I felt. And I just felt like this is what I wanted from this series in the first place. And now I'm finally getting it. And I appreciate everything about it. I really am going to enjoy seeing how the rest of this season shakes out, and I have no fault in any of the performances. I just thoroughly enjoyed everything. It's given me a lot of questions. Some of them have been answered, some of them have not. I had an epiphany on a new theory about why Seven is there, but overall, I give it one giant side eye. What is that guy up to?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll echo a lot of what both of you said. I really enjoyed this. It felt like just coming home to old friends. Yeah, so many great characters and great moments more to come, I'm sure. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, Jonathan Frakes in this episode, for one thing, just felt like seeing an old friend and palling around with them, and like, Will, are you enjoying this? Of course not. Are you? I love those moments, and I'm curious where everything's going. I'm here for the ride to see where it all goes. And we talked about the copious amounts of ship porn and stuff like that in the episode. I'm going to echo a comment I saw from Tristan further up, that cut of the episode with the 8-minute fly around the ship would be the handsome lady cut of the episode. And so
Perfect.
I give this episode one handsome lady cut of the episode, The Next Generation. So.
Yay!
And I give it a red lady.
Perfect.
A red lady, a handsome lady, a
There we
fridge
go,
lady. There we go.
You know, I thought when Picard went over to the fridge and wiped it, we see Benedict Cumberbatch.
I was just thinking of a lot of comic books because, that was the thing. It's like, we're going to kill the woman to motivate our main character because women are useless in comics. I remember those days.
We could see how many just total continuity issues we could bring up. Just like you said, Picard wipes away the thing. It's Benedict Cumberbatch, and Picard says, "I know that face anywhere. It's gone." People are like, "No, wait, what?"
Oh, that would be so great. Or better yet, what Todd Stashwick, he was in
Enterprise.
Enterprise. Yeah. So how about he's the one that's in the thing, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Unnamed Romulan spy from that episode. What?
What's happening here? This guy
awesome.
looks familiar to me. Yeah, a good time.
This is a good point. We didn't bring this up. There's that brief moment where Riker says Deanna and Kestra could use the time away from me, and Picard wants to ask more and then pulls back, and there's something going on there, which
there definitely is. There definitely is, and who knows when we're going to find out about that. Actually, I know. Yeah. Bruce and I know. We're not going to say a thing.
Yeah. And then I like. Oh wait, I probably shouldn't spoil it, but the Crusher son is actually David Marcus. So.
Yep.
There you go. Oh man, yeah, definite David Marcus vibes from the episode as well, for sure. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably stop it there. This has been a really fun discussion that's gone on for twice as long as the episode was, which is great. I love that.
We had things to say.
We did indeed. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us. It was really great to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry I had internet or whatever computer issues trying to join. And I was supposed to be on a StarWarsReport.com meeting because we're revamping the website. The podcast is gone, but the website's still there. That's why I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. But the meeting didn't happen. So I was just like, well, I got somewhere else I can go.
Absolutely. And we welcome you with open arms. I was so excited because I'm just like, wait, he had a meeting. Is he ditching the meeting? No, the meeting ditched him.
Exactly. Yes. We've rescheduled it so many times, and here we go again. But anyway,
that's frustrating.
Fun. I also love that, with your background, you've joined us from a TOS planet. I love that.
Yes, there's a mock time happening right over there.
Actually, I have a wall almost that exact same color in my basement, so it's beautiful red.
I'm in my basement actually. Usually what you see is that wall when I'm on.
Yeah.
But long story short, had a sewage overflow that kind of took out a lot of this room. This is the new wall with the matching paint. I just haven't put everything back on the wall yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh,
well, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks great.
I'm glad that got sorted.
Yes, me too.
And Brandi, thanks as always for being on the show. Much pleasure was had talking about Picard, and 9 more of these to go. I'm very excited.
Yes, me too. Me too. I can't wait to talk about them all.
All right. Well, yeah, and so thank you all for joining us. Check out Positively Trek podcast. Brandi, what do you have going on podcast wise that people should go check out?
Well, nothing new at the moment, but if you want to check out previous episodes of my podcasts, I have 3 of them. Boldly Go, which is about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Big Surprise, with my friend Suzanne. The Vedic Assembly, about Deep Space Nine, also obvious what that's about, with my friend Nick Collinson. And What the Future Holds, about Star Trek Discovery, which thanks to Wilson Cruz, I now know is going to be in the spring, season 5 of Discovery, because he said that on Tig Notaro's podcast, Don't Ask Tig. Way to spill the tea, Wilson. Doing it for everybody. So what date that means, still unknown, but he said it was the spring.
Yeah.
So follow me on Twitter at Brandywine12. I'm not really super active on social media except with Trek stuff because the world is a dumpster fire and I don't want to interact with the crap if I can help it. And you can find all of my podcasts just pretty much anywhere you have a podcaster, or you can just check them out on Anchor as well.
Awesome. And yeah, stay tuned on this channel. I should have my Easter egg video out for this episode tomorrow. Yeah, we didn't dig deep into the Easter eggs in this video because there's so flippin' many of them, which is what is taking that video so long. So yeah.
It's like a Lower Decks episode.
It is, but twice the length. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
Twice the references.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Crusher's pearls from the episode The Big Goodbye feature in this episode. It's like, what? Which is actually, okay, I'm going to do a little rant here because I'm probably not going to do it in that video. There's so many like Easter eggs for Crusher at the start, and it's sad that they're her orchids from Cause and Effect and her pearls that she wore in that one holodeck episode, because there's not a lot to reference when it comes to Crusher in Star Trek. I was waiting for a particular candle to be on the shelf, but that would require way too much explanation for that to be there. So
I hope that thing was vaporized.
I'm pretty sure.
I was hoping to see her aerobics outfits.
Oh, the 80s. The 80s and the workout clothes. Good Lord and butter.
Boy,
just
oh boy.
no.
On that note, live long and prosper, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week for the episode Disengage. Bye, everyone.